Welcome to the 2010 Candidate Forums featuring elections for local, state, and congressional offices, recorded live from the B.W. Simpkins Center at BCC's Cocoa campus. These forums are made possible through a partnership between Brevard Community College, Florida Today, the League of Women Voters, and the Space Coast Tiger Bay Club. And now, tonight's forum.
Good evening and welcome to this, the fifth in a series of candidate forums here in the B.W. Simpkins Fine Arts Auditorium at Brevard Community College's Cocoa campus. I'm J.B. Comp, President-elect of Tiger Bay Club, and we're in partnership with BCC, Florida Today, and the Space Coast League of Women Voters to bring you these informative discussions. Tonight we'll be featuring the three candidates for District 24 Florida State Senate. And before I introduce you to the candidates, let me explain the format for tonight's forum. There'll be a 2-minute opening statement by all three of our candidates, followed by questions from the audience, the live studio audience here in the B.W. Simpkins Auditorium. I'll direct those on a rotating basis to each of the candidates. They'll have a minute to respond to those questions and an optional 30-second rebuttal opportunity. Following the final candidate response, the candidates will be given a 1-minute closing statement opportunity. All right, this question then goes first to Stephen Edmonds. Do you think the legislature is doing all that it can to protect our children as it relates to funding of our schools?
Absolutely not. Education is one of my biggest sore points, one of the planks of my platform. I've lived in Florida all my life, and I've never seen us achieve better than 40th in comparative averages across the nation. We're the fourth largest state in the union, folks. The second most that we spend on is in education. We have not gotten the return on our investment for decades. The legislature hasn't been doing its job for decades. Education needs serious reform, and we need to figure out a way to spend that money in the efficient manner that we are going to get a return on our investment and secure our future. Because if we don't start doing better in education, folks, whatever economic principles that we apply aren't going to matter, because we're not going to have a viable future in this state if we don't correct our educational problems.
Senator Altman.
The state of Florida is leading the nation in terms of increased student performance, and we're not 49th. We're definitely in the upper half, and some reports show us we're in the top 15. We are number one in the nation in terms of access to higher education. I repeat, number one. No state in the union provides access to higher ed better than Florida. As a matter of fact, 90% of the students at University of Florida, for example, are on Bright Future scholarships. We spend over $13,000 per student for education. And even in these tough times, even when we've cut our budget dramatically, we have managed to keep per student funding level. So we have prioritized our future. We've prioritized, even though we've cut during tough times, we have managed to keep per student funding level. And I think we've been responsible. Can we do more? Yes. I think we need to continue to improve our educational opportunities, more accountability, more opportunities for our young students, but we certainly have been a leader in the nation.
I have seen numbers that suggest something quite different. Per pupil spending for the state of Florida is actually near the bottom of all states, and this is K through 12. I also believe that college education should be considered more of a privilege than a right, and having great access to college education suggests to me that we're spending a lot more money there than we are in our K through 12 programs where we desperately need that help. I believe that we should support the idea of eliminating the Federal Department of Education, and I also believe that we should streamline the State Department of Education so that we can push the decision making and the working out of students to the local levels, to the school boards and to the teachers and to the principals and to the parents that are raising these children and that are participating in their education.
30-second response, isn't it?
Okay, so increased student performance is based on something that we call the FCAT, and its comparatives to the rest of the country, and it's increased student performance in the last couple of years. It's not overall academic student performance. Most of the numbers that I've researched show something quite different, and always we are ranked somewhere between 40 and 50. Per student funding has actually dropped. That was actually the question I had for Mr. Altman at the last time we met, and which he stated that it was somewhere around 12,000. It's actually closer to 6.
Ed, 30 seconds.
Well, I can show the numbers at 13,000 per student. I chaired the Education Innovation Committee, and our number one task one session was to get at the total accountability of what we spend on education. When you look at the total package, K through 12, the average cost of education is much closer to 13,000 per student than 6. We have managed to keep per student funding pretty much flat, maybe $10 or $12 off here and there depending on the district. We are prioritizing education. Our graduation rates have increased dramatically.
Putting decision-making back to the local school districts allows the parents to be involved. Now when parents are upset at what's going on in the school, they complain to the school, they complain to the school board. Nobody has authority because it's all being handled out of the federal and state governments. Our curriculums are completely out of control, and we really need to focus in on how to provide better value for each dollar spent on education in this state. And we have to get control over what's happening at our school board and our school levels. It means that you as parents need to get involved in it.